Hi, today I'd like to discuss this ultrasonic cleaner. In the previous tool videos, what I was trying to get across is that this channel is not going to be just to show you little extra luxuries like screwdrivers that tell you when to stop turning the screw, and screen protector removers and appliers, and corner denting tools and things to help you get the screen out of the phone. That's all crap you can do with your $5 tools for free. Or your fingernails. What I will show you are tools that you can use to make exponentially more money that you would not be able to make with what you already have, and I'm going to explain it to you. So there are two things I want to get accomplished today with this video. The first is I want to introduce you to the concept of the ultrasonic cleaner. What is an ultrasonic cleaner? Why do I want it? What should I get? The second thing I want to get across here is how to use it properly so you people stop sodomizing your motherboards and sending them to me and wondering why I can't fix them in a timely manner. Because a lot of people, a lot of you, and you know who you are, have been destroying and skull fucking these motherboards as hard as you can with battery acid and gasoline and piss and whatever the fuck else you put in here at 150 Celsius before you send them here. And that's got to stop. And I've been coaching each of you individually, and again, you know who you are, and explaining to you why you shouldn't do that, but I'd like to put it in a video so that it's simply easier for me to just link to anytime somebody asks. So what is this? This is an ultrasonic cleaner. What does an ultrasonic cleaner do that my toothbrush and alcohol can't do? That's a very, very common question. What this does is it gets underneath chips, which is something a toothbrush and alcohol do not do. So a lot of chips on these boards. Okay, this one doesn't have any chips on it. Neither does this. Dear God, we are savages. Anyway, so if you're watching at this point, you know what a ball grid array chip is anyway, right? So you got the MCP over here, CPU over here, and you got all these little balls attaching it to the board. And you also have the SMC on Apple products. So there are balls underneath these chips, and there are connections to the board that very easily get screwed up when there is liquid damage on the board. And it doesn't matter how hard you scrub with your alcohol and your toothbrush, you are never going to get underneath the chip. This is just a physical reality. You cannot get underneath the chip with a toothbrush. It's not going to happen. This machine does that through a process called cavitation. So what you may find is when you start using this machine is you will have a higher success rate than you did before because this is removing corrosion that you were not removing before. You'll also notice less warranty issues because, again, even if you can get the board to work again through toothbrush and alcohol, is that board going to come back because there's corrosion underneath the PCH or the SMC a month and a half later, and are you going to have a chargeback if that customer moved away, their shit broke, and they don't want to come back to you? Again, this is about avoiding chargebacks, avoiding misery, avoiding hassle, and this machine, properly utilized, is a great way to do that. How does it do that? It does that through a process called cavitation. I would highly suggest you Google cavitation to learn what cavitation is and learn how companies like Crest and Branson integrate this into their products. I'm going to avoid coming up with scientific explanations for these things because on this channel some people have started saying things in these videos like, that's not scientifically correct, you cannot technically scientifically prove that 100%. And I'll see these long posts on it, and some of them have a point, but at the same time, I'm kind of laughing. It's like, you know, I am Lewis, the practical repair guy. I am not Bill Nye, the fucking science guy. If you want pure scientific knowledge, just hit the X button, hit unsubscribe, and go elsewhere. What I'm here to do are three things. Teach you how to do repairs you could not do before. Show you how to avoid miserable situations with your customers. Show you how to avoid miserable repairs. So when I'm saying that you should avoid doing certain things because they don't work, like in the reballing video, I'm not actually x-raying every single chip with a $50,000 machine. I'm using the practical section of my brain. There's a great book on this called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, I believe, where he's talking about thin slicing and how you can instinctively come to a decision that is often more correct than the decision that you come to when you spend hours upon days upon years thinking about it. And he uses great examples because there's a part of your brain when coming to these instinctive decisions that comes to those decisions based on all the information in front of you and all the facts, and it does so in just a much more coherent fashion. And again, so some of the things that I'm telling you to do or not do are just based on the fact that I've been sitting in this chair and doing this kind of stuff professionally for 17 years, for 8 or 12 or 16 hours a day, and not based all on science. Sorry if you were disappointed in that. But anyway, back onto the machine. So it uses a process called cavitation to do this. Now, one of the things that you should look for, firstly, when you buy one of these machines is something that has a sweeping frequency. So the frequency will go up and down, and the whole idea behind this is it winds up just getting to every single little point on the board and also not bombarding the board with the same frequency over and over again. So the point to get across here, don't buy a jewelry cleaner. Don't spend $50 on a jewelry cleaner and expect it to work. Expect that if you spend $50 on a jewelry cleaner, that everything you take out will be worse off than it was before using alcohol on a toothbrush. Again, we charge $325 for board repairs. So if I put something in here and it works, and I do that 3 times in a row, this tool is paid for itself. Everything after it is profit. You are going to be using this tool, I am not kidding, to make tens upon thousands of dollars. So buy something good. This is the one that I recommend you buy if you do Apple motherboards. This is a Crest CP500HT, and I'm going to put that in the description in case you couldn't hear the way I said it. Crest CP500HT. Buy it with the tray. Don't be a cheap fuck. Buy it with the tray. You're not supposed to put the board in there where it's resting on the bottom. It just doesn't allow it to do the process right. That I really don't have a reason for scientifically. The manufacturer said it. So for all I know, they're trying to sell me a tray. But, again, I trust them. They don't have much reason to lie to me. So, again, and buy it with the tray. Just buy it with the tray. This is meant to be used where the board goes into the tray. This goes into the machine so that this is not touching the bottom of the machine. You're not supposed to use this particular machine where you're just dumping it in there. And in many cases, the tray is sold separately. So, again, if you're going to spend like almost $1,000 on this, just buy the tray. Don't jerry-rig it. Don't use like little wires and try to tape it to the side. Just buy the tray. It's made for the machine. So, how do you use this thing? Well, let me get into that aspect of it. I'm going to show you how not to use it first. So this here is a board that was sent in a while ago. And you see, this is what makes me sad. Like, people wonder why we have a 90-day warranty on board repairs. I would like to have a year warranty. I would. Because, again, there are so many regular customers where there is just nothing they are doing to screw up these repairs, or I really want to be able to publish on my website 1 year. But people send me shit like this. like just look at this shit. Like, so let's get this in focus, because this is truly, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do when somebody sends me this? Like, look at this crapola. Look at this. And I've stolen a lot from this, and we're going to get on to why that is soon, but people will send me shit like this. Look at this. Ugh. And again, this stuff was not like this during the original liquid spill. I've done enough of these boards. I've gotten enough of these in from retail customers to know that this is not how they started. This is what they did to them when they put them in these cleaners, either cheap cleaners that skull-fucked the board, or even worse, good cleaners where they just kept the board in there for an hour, or they just didn't dilute the liquid they put in. I would love to offer a better warranty, but again, I have to factor in that I am going to get boards like this, and people are going to expect me to fix them. And again, like, a warranty of 10 days is charity on something like that. Well, look at this board. A warranty of 10 days is charity. Warranty on boards like this should be voided the second I put it in the box to ship it back to you. But unfortunately, the law does not allow me to do that. So we offer a 90-day warranty, and I have been seriously considering. I have been going through the client list, and one of the things that I've been debating doing for a while is raising the warranty to 1 year, but pretty much firing all the customers that send me this and want me to fix it with like a 3-day turnaround. But yeah, that's pretty much that. And again, there are so many people where I tell you over and 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 over, and you just ignore everything I have to say and fill this shit up with fucking Windex or dish soap, or like, seriously, I've read blogs and seen videos where people are using dish soap in this machine. What the fuck is wrong with you? You use dish soap on dishes. You don't use dish soap on $500 motherboard that you're putting into an ultrasonic cleaner. So let me show you how this thing is supposed to work here. Alright, so the first thing you do, at least on mine, because the heating and the timer is broken, I actually have to have the timer on in order for the heat to come up. So I turn it on, I turn the timer on, This timer is such where you can't really set it. As you can see, if I try to set it to like 2 minutes, it just stops because it's an analog one. And I bought the analog one because that was cheap. I knew I was going to be setting the time manually anyway. So the whole point behind this, you put the water in, you put the liquid in, you set it to your desired temperature, you let it heat up, and then you put the board in. So what liquid do I put in here? Well, that's a great question. You don't use dish soap, you don't use Windex, you don't use glass cleaner, you don't use Bronner soap, you don't use any of this stupid shit that people have been doing before they send stuff to me. And again, I get boards where it makes me so sad because I see where the original spill is, and I know from experience this is an issue that I could fix inside 45 minutes. And now it's not. And now it's going to be something where, like, when I look at that crap, you know what happens? That goes to the bottom of the pile. Not even the call to get more time pile. This just goes in a fucking bin or a box behind my chair where I ignore it for a good 2 weeks. I do everything else but that board for 2 weeks. Then, when there's nothing on television, when I'm done, I'm caught up on Hannibal, and I watched all the 24 reruns that I have, and my favorite bar is closed, and it's snowing outside, so I don't have a way to get home, and, you know, everybody I know is out doing something else, and I have no tickets anew, and I've mopped the floor, and I've done my laundry. At that point, I may look at your board for 10 minutes before it goes right back in the bin for another 2 weeks, so I can actually make money off of people that did not fuck up their crap. Anyway, I'm really just going off on a tangent here. Point is, how do you use this machine? So, you use 1 gallon of distilled water. You can buy a gallon of distilled water at some of the upscale delis. Again, cheap delis don't sell distilled water. Good delis sell distilled water. Or a pharmacy. Almost every pharmacy will sell you a gallon of distilled water. Expect to pay $2 for this. You pour your gallon of distilled water in here. Then you go out and you buy something called Branson EC or Branson EC. Websites like Allspec sell these things by the gallon or by the 5 gallons. If you're doing this for a living, I would suggest you buy 5 gallons because you are going to get a discount on it, and you're also, you know you're going to be using this stuff, and it's not that much of an investment. So the whole idea here, you use 103 milliliters. 103 milliliters, not the whole fucking gallon. You use 103 milliliters of Bransonic EC to 1 gallon of water. So you pour 1 gallon of, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again because there's so many people who just refuse to listen to anything I have to say. 103 milliliters of Bransonic EC, 1 gallon of distilled water. Then you turn this thing to 65 degrees. You turn it on. Let me get a power cord so I can turn it on. You can see the lights. Okay, so my power cord is wrapped around a bunch of things right now, and I don't feel like taking the wire off to get another one. And there's going to be a yellow and a green light on here. You just have to take my word for it. Now, the yellow light is going to be on when this thing is in the process of heating up. Once the yellow light is off and you only see the green light, that means that you've hit your desired temperature. At that point, you can drop your motherboard in. So let me get that motherboard that I threw. I should have just gotten a power cord since I am going to have to get up anyway. Jesus, that thing is gone. Okay, here we go. I got some motherboards sitting over here that are completely trashed. So let's start with you. Okay. So I use 4 phases to clean boards in this machine. So this tray, you're going to take this off. You're going to put the board in the tray like so. And then you put it in the machine. Now here's what I do. First I put a board, again, you can't really fit the board in like perfectly like that if it's a bigger one. I do it like this because I want the cavitation to actually get inside and under these things. So the first way I put it in is like this. Then I take it out 1 minute later and I put it like this. So again, we're still cleaning this same side of the board. This side of the board is what's being cleaned. So I clean it once like this, then once like this. Now we do the other side of it. So then I do it so this is the other side. Now I do it once like this, again, for 1 minute. And then I do it like this, again, for 1 minute. So we have the top side of the board. So this is the top side, and with the CPU and the PCH. Top side angled this way, and then like this way, so we get every single little component on that side. And then on the bottom side of the board, we do it this way. Like this, and then like this. I take it out once a minute, and that's pretty much all there is to it. You don't want to have the machine on while you're taking this out or putting this in. You're not supposed to disturb anything inside of here while it's on. Again, not going to be Bill Nye the Science Guy here. Ask Crest Ultrasonics, and I'm sure they'll explain everything to you on why that is. After that's done, get some 99% alcohol, like this. And if you don't know where to buy this, Allspec. I like Allspec. They are a good company. They sell good stuff. They have good support. I like buying this kind of stuff from Allspec. So this is a large gallon. I think about a gallon. Let's see. I'm sure it says somewhere that I'll find right after the video is done. See, this is about a gallon of alcohol right over here. I believe I got this from Allspec. And what I do with this is I put this into a baking tray. So it'll be one of those, like, cheap, crappy things, again, that you find at a deli or a corner store. It's like one of those dollar aluminum baking trays. And then I pour the alcohol in it, and then I put the board inside there. Again, alcohol naturally displaces water. So when you put the alcohol on that board, when you actually surround it in alcohol, it's pushing the water out, which is a good thing, because again, you want this thing to dry quickly, and you don't want water to sit there and be under chips and do bad things. And alcohol evaporates very quickly, especially the 99% one. Again, don't be cheap. Don't buy the 70% crap. Don't buy rubbing alcohol, because it has a bunch of extra stuff in it it's good for people, but bad for motherboards. You buy 99% alcohol from Allspec, and then if you don't have a baking tray, again, you don't have to be super high-tech with this. You can stand over a toilet and just pour the alcohol on there. Again, half of the time I forget to buy a baking tray. So I'm standing here pouring alcohol over the motherboard next to a toilet. And I don't care, because it makes money. After that, what I do is I put it next to something like an air filter over here. So here I have, let me just show you. I got these air filters here. So I'll lay the motherboard on top of the air filter. So I got some nice clean air blowing on it to dry it. So yeah, these air filters that I have, they just kind of became motherboard dryers, because it's better than just, I guess, blowing air on it with the compressed air. And it works very well. Oh, and if you don't have an air filter or anything like that, or something you can easily dry it with, one of the things that I used to do when I was done with this process, when I was working out of my apartment, I used a dehumidifier. So I bought a dehumidifier for $25 off of Craigslist from some yard sale. It was 25 bucks. I actually carried this thing home on the train, which is awful misery. And I put the dehumidifier in my bathroom. This served two purposes. The first is that when I put this large dehumidifier in this very, very small room, it sucked up all the moisture and the humidity, so that my motherboard, after it was soaked in alcohol, it would be drying inside of 5 minutes. Secondly, after I took a shower, it cleaned everything. I mean, my bathroom, my shower was immaculate. You know how bathrooms get really nasty because of the humidity and the liquid that sticks to the side of your shower, and then dirt and crap gets stuck. You didn't have any of that in my bathroom, at the very least, when I had the dehumidifier in it. So truly, you kill two birds with one stone there. And you'll notice that a lot of the boards that you take out of there, they wind up working again very, very well. I've said that one of the things that you should do when you're trying to fix boards, when you're trying to learn this, is use your brain. And I got to tell you, since I got this machine, you don't have to use your brain as much. Because again, I would say at least 50% of the boards that we get, at least the ones that have not been skull fucked before they get here, you put them inside of this and they just work coming out of it. So again, what is it that you need if you're going to buy this? A, you buy a Crest CP500HT. Secondly, you buy the tray that should come with it. Any decent website is going to be selling the machine with the tray, or right next to the machine. They're going to have it as a cross-sell or an upsell, so you can easily find it, because it is something that you need. Third, buy distilled water. Buy 1 gallon of distilled water and to pour it into this machine. Fourth, buy Branson EC. It's a very good cleaner. Do not pour the Branson EC in here. Do not pour the Branson EC in here. You pour the distilled water in here, and then you pour a very small bit of Branson EC in here. How much of the Branson EC do you put in? I just wanted to see if you were paying attention and listening. But in case you weren't, 103 milliliters of Branson EC to 1 gallon of water. How long do you heat it for? 1 minute per side. 1 minute here, 1 minute here, 1 minute here, and then I'm not as flexible as I thought. 1 minute there. What temperature? 60, 65 Celsius. Don't go higher than 60 or 65. Don't go lower than that. Don't be an impatient asshole and say, I'm going to get this done now. I want to go home earlier. No, wait till the thing hits 60 or 65. Don't accidentally turn it all the way up, have it at 80 Celsius, and then pour your board in there. Go to do something else or talk to a customer and come back 20 minutes later so your board looks like the one that I showed you. Don't do stupid shit. Don't put dishwashing soap in here. Don't put Windex in here. Don't put industrial glass cleaner in here. Don't put, just don't put any stupid shit that people are putting in this thing. Again, you're spending $900, $1,000, $1,200 on this tool, and you're going to fill it with liquid that you bought for $1 at the bodega. Like, why? Why are you undoing all the good work that you've done for yourself? And be cognizant of the fact that you can put stuff in here that works, and you can kill it. You can put good boards in here that work perfectly fine, and you can murder them if you do stuff like that. If you overheat them, or you keep them in here for too long, or you use dumbass liquids, and you don't dry them properly before you try to turn them on again. So that's pretty much it for today. If you have any questions, post it in the comments. Again, my recommended brands, you can't go wrong with Crest and Branson. If you want to do bigger motherboards, if you want to do PlayStation or Xbox motherboards or PC motherboards, you are going to need something bigger than this. The only reason that I have this one instead of the other ones that cost more money is because this is more than good enough for the boards that I work on, and there's no reason to spend extra. But Crest does have options available if you have more money to spend. They do have larger cleaners that will be able to accommodate larger boards, and I would suggest that you look through their catalog. Again, this machine is rock solid. I have knocked this thing off of the table. I have moved 5 or 6 times with this thing. It's been sitting in a truck without bubble wrap going back and forth. I use this thing 6 to 7 times a day. It does not die. It's durable. Am I saying Branson is not durable? No. Branson is an amazing company. But in terms of longevity and experience, this is the only one I can speak for because this is the only one that I have a lot of experience with. So if